We continue now at the top of Daf Tzadiyam Beis Meseches Nedarim. This is Nedarim Daf 90b. The Gemara is continuing with the approach of Ravina's father in the name of Rav Papi, that the pasuk, when it says Lo Yachel Devaro, it means to say Lamemra de Lo Have B'Maisa. The pasuk means to say even if the neder has not actually been chal, even in that situation, if it comes to undoing that neder in front of a chacham, the chacham can undo it according to all opinions. The machlokas is only by hafara, but not by she'ela. And the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have a question on this approach. Konim she'eni nene leploni ulamisha nishal olav. Again, the Brisa says, let's say a person takes a neder, says he's not going to benefit from so-and-so, and also he's not going to benefit from the person who he asks to undo the neder. So the Brisa says, Nishal ala Rishon, first you have to ask to undo the first neder, v'yachar kach nishal ala sheni, and after that, he should ask to undo the second neder. And the point seems to be over here that if he asks to undo the first neder, then the second neder will be chal, because since he asked to undo the first neder, now he has asked someone, there is a misha nishal olav, and therefore he's now prohibited to get benefit from the person he asked. And so it sounds like from this Brisa, you cannot ask to undo a neder unless the neder has been chal. And the Gemara says, Amai, why is that the case? If we hold like what we just said, that according to everyone, when it comes to she'ela, a person can ask to undo the neder even though it has not been chal, so he can ask on either one first. It shouldn't make a difference. And the Gemara says the same thing it said on the previous Amud, can we really identify in this brisa which is the first and which is the second? Nishal ala rishon could just mean the first one that he's asking about. It doesn't necessarily mean the first one that is mentioned in the brisa, and so there's no proof one way or the other from this brisa. And so the Gemara asks, again, just like on the previous summit, from a brisa that is identical, but makes it clear which one is being asked first and which one second. Meisvei, we ask a question from the following brisa, Konim she'eni nene v'hareini nazir. Let's say a person takes a neder, I'm not going to benefit, and if I do benefit, so then I'm going to become a nazir. L'chashe'esh al olav, I'll become a nazir when I ask to undo that first neder. So the brisa here says clearly, nishal al nidro v'yachar kach nishal al nizro. First he has to ask to undo the neder, and only after that can he ask to undo the nazirus, because again, the nazirus is not going to be chal until he asks to undo the first neder. And here, because they're using the term neder and nazir, so it's obvious that the neder is going first and the nazirus is second. And again, the Gemara asks the same question: V'amai, why is this the case? Iboyal nidro nishal b'reisha, v'boyal nizro nishal b'reisha. If we hold like what we just said, that when it comes to she'ela, everybody agrees you can ask to undo the neder even if it has not been chal. So if he wants, he can ask to undo the neder first, and if he wants, he should be able to ask to undo the nazirus first, even though it has not been chal. And the Gemara says, Tiyufta, indeed this is a refutation of this last approach. It is not the case, not everyone agrees that if it has not been chal, that you can undo it by asking a chacham. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Barishona hayuomim, originally they said, Shalosh nashim yotzos v'notlos ksuba, that there are three wives, that they can be divorced and they can collect their ksuba. And the three cases are as follows. Homeres, let's say she says, Tamei ani lecha, she says, I have become defiled to you. That will be explained. Second case is she says, Shamayim beini leveinecha, the heavens are between me and you. That also will be explained. Unetula ani min haYehudim. And the third case is if she makes a neder that she's prohibited from getting benefit from all Jews, in that case as well, she is divorced and can collect her ksuba. But the Mishnah continues, Chazru lomar, they then retracted and they said as follows. In order that a wife doesn't look at somebody else, maybe she wants to be with another man and then she'll ruin the relationship with her husband, so they said as follows. If a wife says that I've become defiled to you, she needs to bring evidence, she needs to bring proof to what she is saying. If she says the heavens are between me and you, so yasu derech bakasha, so then they should do it, but they should do it by means of a request. That also will be explained. Unetula ani min haYehudim. Now, if she says that I'm prohibited from having relations with all Jews, so in that situation, yofer lechelko, the husband should annul his portion of the vow, the part of the vow that relates to him, so that she can have relations with him. Utei misham shaso, that way she can have relations with him. Utei netula min haYehudim, and then she still will be prohibited from other Jews. And the Mefarish explains, yotzos bal karcho shel bal. In these cases, she is divorced against the will of the husband, meaning the husband is forced to divorce her. The first case was Tamea ani lecha, I've become defiled to you. Ba'olai adam echad v'timani lecho v'ones ka'amar. What she's saying is that somebody raped me. That's the situation over here. Be'eshes Kohen, and we're talking about the wife of a Kohen. The halach is that the wife of a Kohen, if she's raped, so she becomes prohibited to her husband. So that's what she's saying. And again, the Mishnah is saying she's believed in the original. She was believed when she says that, and she is divorced and she collects the ksuba. To v'ones nami asuralo, again by an eshes Kohen, in a situation of rape, she's prohibited to him. Ulahachi no tell us ksubasa, and that's the reason why she's allowed to collect her ksuba. The lo pasha, because she didn't do anything wrong. It was a case of onus. The ibe eshes Yisrael, because if we were talking in the Mishnah about a case of the wife of a Yisrael, Eino Yotza, so in that case she actually wouldn't even have to be divorced, the Anusa Mutaris lo, because the situation of rape is still permitted. If a wife gets raped and she's an Eshes Yisrael, she's still permitted to her husband. Kinanaf Kalon mi vehilo nispasa, we learned that out from the Pasuk. The Ibaratzim Kamairi, and if we're talking about where she willingly was defiled, she willingly had relations with another man, Afilo Yisrael Asura, so then she'd actually be prohibited completely even to a Yisrael ve'ein la ksuba, and she would not receive the ksuba, so that can't be the case in the Mishnah either, to Hapasha, because in that case it's her fault. Uva Gemara mefarish lahachi, the Gemara will explain that this is what the Mishnah is referring to. The second case of the Mishnah was Hashamayim beini leveinecha. She says the heavens are between me and you, and what that means is she'eno mazriya. What she's really saying in that case is she's saying her husband is not able to produce semen. The davar zeh eno gole lebrios. This is something that people are not aware of. Elul hashamayim. It's only something that's aware. Only the heavens are aware of it. This is a euphemism for that idea. The idea over here is the Gemara says that if you have a situation where a man is not mazriya, his zera is not yora kachetz. If it doesn't shoot out like an arrow, so then it's not going to be able to produce children, and that's what she's saying over here. She's saying that his zera is not yorah kachetz. And the Mishnah also said yasu derech bakasha. So the Mishnah said that then they retracted, and they said that in a situation of hashamayim beini leveinecha, so what they should do is they should do it, but they should do it by way of request. And the Mefarish understands that to mean Yavakshu Heimenu Shifterena beget. If she says Hashamayim Beini Leveinecha, so in that case they cannot force him to divorce her, but they request of him that he should give her a get karoi in the proper way. Vein machrichin or so, but they don't force him to do so. And the Gemara says Iboy they had the following question. Amra lebala tamea ani. Let's say she says to her husband that I have been defiled. So mahu shetochal betruma. What's the halacha in terms of eating truma? Meaning to say, according to the Mishnah's retraction, according to the second approach of the Mishnah, she has to bring evidence. She's not just simply believed to say that she was defiled. She can't force him to divorce her and give a ksuba in that case. She has to bring evidence. But what if she's saying she was defiled? Is she allowed to continue to eat truma if she is the wife of a Kohen? And the Gemara says, Rav Sheisha says, Ocheles, she's allowed to eat the truma. Shelo totzi laz al baneh, because otherwise there's going to be rumors about her children that she's really prohibited to her husband. If she's not eating truma, so then it's clear there might be something wrong with the relationship. But Rava says, Eina Ocheles, she should not eat truma in that case. She's saying she was defiled. She's saying she's not allowed to eat truma, so she's not allowed to eat truma. After dachla chulin, because it's possible she can eat chulin, and people are not going to necessarily spread rumors about her children. Maybe she's just choosing to eat chulin. Perhaps chulin is more accessible. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rava says, Umoder Rav Sheishas admits Shem Nisarmala, that let's say she's widowed. So let's say her husband dies at that point in time, She'eno Cheles. At that point in time, even Rav Sheishas would agree she should no longer eat truma. Midi Hutayim Elamishum Totzi Laz Al Baneha. The only reason why Rav Sheishas says she should eat truma is because we don't want rumors to go out about her children. But Nisarmala and Niskarsh, in cases where she's widowed or divorced, Amri Hashta de Isna. So we can simply say that right now, currently, that's the time that she was raped. That's why she was defiled after the marriage. There's no reason for people to spread rumors about her children, about occurrences that happened before the time of the divorce or becoming a widow. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Papa says, Badik lon Rava tested us with the following question. Eishes Kohen Shenen, so let's say you have a situation of the wife of a Kohen and she's raped, and there are Eidim that she was raped, so Yesh la ksuba, Ein la ksuba. So in such a situation, does she receive a ksuba, or does she not receive a ksuba? Kevan da'onas lagabe Kohen, karatzon lagabe Yisrael dami. On the one hand, we could say that when you have a case of rape by a Kohen, so that's the same thing as ratzon. Let's say you have a wife who's with another man by Yisrael, and it's baratzon. She does so willingly. It's the same halachic nafkamina in both situations. She becomes prohibited to her husband, so there's a certain equivalence. So ein la ksuba. So then we should say, just like by ratzon lagabe Yisrael, of course she does not receive a ksuba because she did so willingly. So maybe by ones lagabe Kohen, maybe in a situation of rape where she's married to a Kohen, she also also does not receive a ksuba. Odilmor, maybe Motzi Amrle, she can say to him, Anoha Chazina, I am still fit, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tzadi Aleph Amud Aleph.